trousers and motorcycle boots, a black leather jacket with an eagle on the back. He had a hopped up Harley that took off like a gun, and he was called the terror of Highway 101. When I was just a young boy, I heard a story told about an outlaw biker who was always on the road. They called him wild as fire and free as raging wind, and meaner than a werewolf when he's on a drunken binge. His engine roared like thunder as flames streaked out his pipes, and he was called the terror when his bike lit up the night. He wore black denim trousers and motorcycle boots, a black leather jacket with an eagle on the back. He had a hopped up Harley.
Okay, everybody, so you saw that I had a 5 to 6 pound chicken. No, you can't have any chicken, Aurora. And we put it in water, covered it till the chicken was completely covered, big stock pot like this. Cooked it for about 45 minutes. Let it cool, took the skin off, deboned it, shredded the chicken. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this broth that we have and we're going to strain it. So you get all that skin and everything that floated off. See? And once we have this completely strained, we'll put it back in the pot. And then we're ready to start making dumplings. So we've got this strained. It's beautiful. It smells wonderful. We didn't add anything to the broth. It's just simply chicken and water. But now we have bought some chicken broth because we just need more. My kids like a lot of dumplings, so I turn around and I add 2 more cups of chicken broth. I might have to add some more later. You just never know. Just have it handy in case you need extra, because sometimes you end up with more dumplings. Sometimes you don't have as many and you don't need as much. But if you have kids like mine, which they're not kids, they're grown adults now, but they absolutely adore my chicken and dumplings. So, 2 cups of chicken broth, 2 cups of water. We've got this sitting on 6, which is a medium high. We're wanting it to come to a boil. Now let's get started on these dumplings. Alright, now we're ready for dumplings. Same pot that we had the broth in. Plain flour, 2 cups. 1 and 2. That don't even look like enough, to be honest. Let's go ahead and do 3. Because like I said, that's an awfully big bird. There we go. Now, we put a sprinkle of salt. 1 large egg. Now, I got to start getting this ready because we slowly start pouring some of the broth into this mixture to form our batter, or our dough, I should say. Okay, now, alright, so we're going to start adding a little broth at a time. Stir real quick because we don't want that egg cooking. And when it starts forming into a ball like this, that's ready. That just took 2 ladles full. Okay. Next, we need to form this into a ball and set it in the refrigerator until it's nice and chilled. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Dumplings. That's what I always called my son when he was growing up, was my dumpling. And he loves chicken and dumplings, one of his favorite meals. Alright. So, I will sprinkle a little flour. And remember, this is plain flour. Kind of want to work that flour through just a little bit because you don't want it being tacky. Because you want to be able to spread it out nice and evenly and cut your dumplings. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is just set this back in our bowl, just like this. Put it in the refrigerator for about 45 minutes. It's been in there 45 minutes, just pulled it out. Put it on my butcher block here, covered in flour, and put a little flour on top. Got my rolling pin. Now, it might stick. You never know. So I got my spatula just in case. But you don't want them too thin. They're going to puff up anyway because of the egg that we added. Okay, like that. Now I use a pizza cutter, and let's just start like this. These are very imperfect dumplings. But it really doesn't matter. Alright, and then we'll start. Now, your water has to be boiling. And once they hit that hot water, they start puffing up. But it has to be boiling. You can't put them in lukewarm water and expect them to puff up. You're not going to get the effect that you want. And they're probably going to get like twice this size. So, let's drop a few of these in, and then we'll be ready to start adding our other ingredients. Alright, our water's boiling, so you just start dropping them in. One at a time like this. Because you don't want them sticking together. And stir it up occasionally like that. These are going to be awesome. And of course, we're going to make us some good old southern collard greens to go with them, and some corn muffins to sop up all that pot liquor from the collard greens and our juice from our chicken and dumplings. You just can't get any more southern than that. Okay, I'll finish this up. We'll be back in a minute. Our dumplings look beautiful. See, I told you they'd puff up. Now, I made myself a cornstarch slurry. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, a little water. We got to thicken this up. Add that to the water. It's really going to help it thicken up. We might have to add more. You just never know. Today's very humid, so I'm thinking we probably do need to add just a little more. So let's do that again. Alright, so that's 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. Made us a slurry. This is going to help this thicken up really well, because we like ours thick. Some people like it like soup, but we don't. We like it more like a stew. Okay, so now we add a splash of milk. That's about, I would have to say, 1/4 of a cup of milk we just added. Now, for some flavor, I have minced 1/2 of a yellow onion to add to this. This is going to give it some really good flavor. Alrighty. Now, we are now going to add some garlic. Not much, just 1/2 of a teaspoon, just like that. Now, the number 1 ingredient, sage. Well, it's not wanting to come out. It is so humid. Y'all just overlook me, but there's about a teaspoon's worth in here. Yeah. Get all of that out. I mean, it's 100 degrees outside, and it is so humid that with all the air running, we are still sweating in this house. Alright, so sage. Now, we want about a teaspoon's worth black pepper. Teaspoon's worth of salt. Just like that. It's going to start cooking down nicely. Now, I always add parsley. Just makes it pretty. Adds a little flavor. Not a whole lot, but I just sprinkle a little on the top. Just like that. Stir it up. And like I said, this is going to cook down for a while, so it's going to continue to get thicker. Now, if you want it any thicker, you can always thicken it up with another cornstarch slurry. Now we add our chicken. This is a meal that can feed your family for several nights, if you just have a family of 4 or something. Cornbread, something green on the side, green beans, collard greens, coleslaw, what have you. But this is going to continue to cook down and get thicker, and some of the best chicken and dumplings you've ever put in your mouth. Okay guys, ready for collard greens. I've already started it. Got a big old batch right here. Best way to do collard greens, we cut the stem out. So I just run mine straight down like this. Cut it off right up there. Straight down like this. Ready. Then what we do is we put them in the sink with 2 tablespoons of vinegar and let them soak. Then we rinse them off, cut them up, and put them in the pot to cook. But I'll show you all the rest in just a sec. We've got these soaking. Got a little vinegar in there just in case there's bugs or anything. It'll help them float and get rid of them. Let the water out. Rinse them off as you put them in your pot over here, and then you're ready to cut them up, get ready to cook. What I do is I just layer my leaves, then I fold them like this, kind of like you're doing a sushi roll, and then I cut them like this, because they're going to shrink down to nothing. I went to the farmer's market and I got these for 50 cents a pound. Can't beat it. And he'd already taken most of the stalk off. And throw them in my pot. I'll get these all chopped up and we'll be back in a sec. Alright, we got 3 pounds of collard greens here. So, got my chicken stock out again. And I am going to add 2 whole cups. You don't need a whole lot of liquid because they're going to cook down, and I do mean probably to 1/3 of this. 1/4 of a cup of good distilled vinegar. There you go. Okay, I put about a big teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. I'll put a little salt to taste because the chicken stock already has plenty of salt. So you don't need a whole lot. And to make it even better, 1 smoky ham hock down in there. We're going to put these on the stove, put them down on medium. They start coming to a little boil. You turn them down on simmer, cook them several hours until they are fork tender. Well, we have had this cooking for over 3 hours and most of my liquid had cooked out. So what you do at this point, you add 2 more cups of your chicken broth or chicken stock, whichever you have on hand. Stir it up real good because you're going to put a lid on at this point. And to take out some of the bitterness, because collards can be quite bitter, you put you a little teaspoon of brown sugar in that to mellow it out. You don't need a whole lot because you don't want it tasting like candy, but that little bitty teaspoon. You stir this all up in there, turn your heat down to simmer, put the lid on. Cook it another hour, your collards are done. They've been cooking for 4.5, almost 5 hours. Well, we're gonna make us a little batch of cornbread. It's just me and my husband, so 1 cup self-rising cornmeal mix. Then we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter. Okay. Now, stir that up because it's pretty hot. We just melted it. We don't want to cook our egg. But it's going to give this cornbread a really good buttery flavor. 1/2 cup of creamed corn. This goes so well with our chicken and dumplings. I just put it in the middle and just pour my chicken and dumplings over it like most good Southern girls do. Now, 1 large egg. Stir this up. And some good old buttermilk. This is buttermilk cornbread. Different than what we've done before. And I just add it accordingly. You don't want it thin. You want it kind of like cake batter. You want that twang of that buttermilk. There we go. That's perfect. Okay. Now, let me grab my pan. Isn't that just the coolest thing you've ever seen? Alright. Now, I've got the oven preheating on 400. Put it in there and you just cook it anywhere from, I'd say 25 minutes to 40 minutes, depending on your oven, until it starts getting golden brown looking. And then it's ready. You do want it to crisp up on the outside though, so you want it like a deep golden brown. Okay, let's see. Alrighty. Now, that should feed me and my hubby for a couple of nights. And let's get it in the oven. Budget friendly. This whole meal probably cost me less than $12 and we can eat on it for, I know, 3 nights. So come back and join us again for another Southern recipe. Hope to see you soon. Happy 4th.
and motorcycle boots.